clearly shows the various practices in different units, and also it brings in the need for standardization. Um, so, Suman, first, I would like to ask you, why do we need KMC and why do we need to scale up KMC in India? Or if you can take us through that as the first starting point, that would be great, please.
Um, yes, Praveen, thank you very much for first inviting us here. Marian and I are very happy to be here because 15th March, 15th May, as you all know, is World KMC Day. And today is Nurses Day. So, congratulations to the 4 nurses who are here, and thank you for being there for all of us. So, with that, I would like to start off talking about the need for scaling up KMC and how to go about it. So, basically, we will be sharing our experiences that we have had in our KMC implementation project, and I will just take you through that. So, I'm going to start sharing my screen, and I would invite the participants to put in their questions in the chat box as they get these questions in their mind, and we will take up these questions at the end. So to start off with, I hope you all can see my screen.
Yeah.
Please confirm that you can see the screen, right?
Yes, we can.
So why is there need for this discussion at all? Because we know this is something that all of us know, that kangaroo mother care is beneficial, and there's no doubt about it. If you look at the Cochrane meta-analysis from 2016, unlike other Cochrane meta-analysis which says more information is needed very often, this is something which shows a 40% reduction in mortality till discharge, and a whopping 65% reduction in nosocomial sepsis, 88% in hypoglycemia, and 72% in hypothermia, and it also promotes exclusive breastfeeding and growth. So there's absolutely no doubt that kangaroo mother care is sort of life saving game changer for the low birth weight neonate. And it is a total healthcare strategy for the low birth weight neonate, which can really save up to 2 lakh deaths per year. So this is what it can do. But unfortunately, when we look at coverage of KMC, it is quite poor. In 2016, when WHO looked at the global coverage of KMC for these babies, it was very difficult to even find these numbers, but overall, it was less than 5% globally. So, this sort of life saving intervention, how can this high coverage of facility initiated KMC be achieved, was a $1 million question at that time. In addition, what it was found that a lot of babies die even before KMC is initiated, because currently, as you know, the recommendation is that kangaroo mother care be started when the baby is stable. But almost a third of the babies don't even reach this stability, and they die before it, and therefore they don't get the benefit. Similarly, WHO has been recommending only facility initiated KMC as of now. So again, a lot of babies who are born at home or go back very early into the community do not get the benefit of KMC. And these were some of the reasons for the poor coverage of KMC. So therefore, WHO initiated a series of research projects on KMC, one of which was Scale Up KMC. The other two I'll be talking about later, that is Community KMC and Immediate KMC. So we have been fortunate in St. John's that we were part of the Scale Up KMC study, and this was an implementation research study. In the sense, it was very different from the other research projects that we all do, where we wait for the results and we decide the methodology. In this implementation research, it is totally the reverse. We have the results, and we have to decide what is the method that we adopt to achieve this result. So we needed to develop a model that resulted in a high coverage, and that we said was 80%, and quality of KMC for the target population, stable babies. And mind you, this was at a population level. This was not at a facility level. So WHO wanted the different groups to look at what is the model to ensure that in a population, say in a district, all babies less than 2 kgs get effective KMC. And here, effective KMC was described as continuous skin-to-skin contact for more than 8 hours in a day, plus exclusive breastfeeding. Because kangaroo mother care is practiced very, very differently across various facilities. Some of them do it for half an hour. Very often, as you all said, it is very difficult to achieve high duration. But we defined effective KMC as more than 8 hours plus exclusive breastfeeding. And our main thing was, how do we get this effective KMC? So this was a project which happened in 4 different districts in Ethiopia and 3 places or 3 districts in India, and we were one of it. As you see here, this happened simultaneously in Sonipat district of Haryana, Raebareli district of UP, and in Karnataka, we were the project implementers, and we did this in Koppal district. So, and that is what I'm going to be sharing with. How did we scale up KMC in the district of Koppal? So we are here in Bangalore, and Koppal is right up here. We chose Koppal mainly because of its health indicators. And as you see here, Koppal district has health indicators or had health indicators in 2016 far worse than the rest of Karnataka, and even actually worse than the average Indian indicators. And the neonatal mortality, infant mortality were all much higher. And therefore, it was the wish of the partners, that is Karnataka Health Promotion Trust and the government of Karnataka, that we do this project in Koppal, though it was quite difficult for us because we are around 400 kilometers away from it. So we started this project in the health facilities, where KMC would be started in the health facilities and then go into the community. So we mapped the health facilities in Koppal districts, and we found that there were 59 government facilities with 4 major government hospitals in the different taluks, and we had 31 private facilities. So how did this implementation research happen? We initially had a formative phase of 3 months where we just sort of understood the problems, and then we went through different models, model 0, 1, 2, and 3, and finally we had the model that we wanted, which we thought would ensure high coverage of KMC. So we tried different things, and we started small. Initially, in the first model, we did it for 3 months in only 5 facilities, 4 government and 1 private in only 1 taluk. And then we moved over slowly to 2 taluks, and finally in M3 to all 4 taluks. We tried different things, and what we found worked, we adopted it. What we found needed tweaking, we adapted it. And there were a few things which we found just doesn't work, and then we abandoned it. And you all know that these are the principles of quality improvement. And throughout this phase, the formative research and program learning continued, and the data that we were gathering fed into our system of how to improve KMC. And what we found were this, and this is one of the key slides that I would like to present. The barriers to KMC was, first of all, identification of low birth weight itself. Then we found that it was not the family or the community which was the barrier, but it is us, the doctor and nurses. And I will elaborate on this further. And one of the barriers here is we consider NICU care or incubator care to be superior to KMC, and KMC just being a poor man's alternative, which is not so, and I'm going to elaborate on that. There was a great reluctance to start KMC early among the health personnel. When it should be started was not very clear, and there were a lot of system barriers to prolong KMC. Remember, our effective KMC was more than 8 hours, and then we had a big gap to jump across between facility and communities, where we had to continue this effective KMC in the community. So as I said, a large chunk of the low birth weight were being missed. In fact, when we did this as a proper low birth weight validation study in the district of Koppal, and we found that 25% of the babies who were recorded as normal weight were actually low birth weight. And particularly when you see rounding off, that when you see exactly 2,500 grams as a birth weight, you can be sure that in 2/3 of these cases, this is actually a low birth weight. So rounding and heaping was a big problem. And when our research nurses did the weight as compared to the facility nurses, we found that low birth weight incidence was 35%, compared to 18% by the health facility nurses. And this was particularly true of less than 2 kgs, where we found an incidence of 5.5% as compared to 2.2% when the health nurses were doing. And this was large extent was because the beam balance was being used. So it was quite simple for WHO to replace all the balances across the district of Koppal, in fact, across all sites in Ethiopia and in India. And WHO provided the Sika weighing machine to ensure that we capture our population well. And this has to be because the training for automated machine is far lesser as compared to for a beam balance. So this was the first problem, identification of low birth weight, that we overcame. And the next thing was about the health personnel. So we needed to support the health personnel. And as you all know, it is the nurses who are the main implementers of KMC. So we had two type of support. One is the nurse mentors who are present in the sites. And the nurse mentors are nothing but research staff who are particularly trained in KMC, and they were positioned in the facilities to support the nurses in the facilities to promote KMC. And we also had specialist mentors, and you see here some of my colleagues here from St. John's. And we would go every month to support the doctors there to not only do kangaroo mother care, but good low birth weight care. So this was about the training of the nurse mentors. They had training inside in St. John's. And then we had 12 nurse mentors who went into the Koppal district across the different taluks and supported the nurses. So there was on-site nurse mentoring and support. And as specialist mentors, we would do model rounds and audits and support the pediatricians. And we supported the facilities to have their own quality improvement committee so that they would have meetings and they would start looking at their own data and improve the outcomes of low birth weight babies through KMC. So we did a lot of emergency newborn drills and continuing nursing education. But one of the big issues we found was KMC is not a medical intervention alone. It is actually a social intervention, and counseling is one big aspect of it. And therefore, we needed to strengthen counseling, and we needed to have people to talk about this. And we had the regular counselors in the different facilities trained in John's, and then they went back into the Koppal district. Motivating service providers is a big thing. So we had KMC champions, and we asked them to look at their own data and plot it on charts to know how they are doing KMC. So this was another big thing. But one of the big barriers we found was actually doctors themselves. The nurses are ready to do, but they wait for order from the doctor saying, yes, this baby is well enough to start KMC. And this is something that we needed to help the doctors start KMC as early as possible for the baby. So we had a lot of continuing CMEs for the doctors. And there we tried to promote KMC not as a poor man's alternative, but as the standard of care. If we look at kangaroo mother care, it is not only for all the problems that we found in the Cochrane meta-analysis like hypothermia, hypoglycemia, but it is the best care which promotes the neurodevelopment of the baby, and we have evidence for it. And this is something that we talked about a lot during the CMEs. As you see here, kangaroo mother care is not only life-saving, but it's brain-saving. This was a study done as a PhD thesis by Bera in Kolkata, and she showed very clearly that by DASI, as an evaluating tool, kangaroo mother care improves the neurodevelopment of the baby. Similarly, Charpak et al., who is the lady of KMC from Columbia, Bogota, where it all started, they looked at 20 years outcomes of their RCT and found that kangaroo mother care babies had benefit over the conventional controls even at 20 years. They did a lot of series of tests on the brain and found that even at 20 years, the kangaroo mother care babies' brains were very similar to the term infants, far better than controls. The neuromotor disability at 20 years was lower. They had better school attendance and even better weight. So it makes economic sense to do KMC for the future. This is another study. This is my student Sridevi's thesis, where we wanted to look at neurodevelopment, and in St. John's, like now it is unethical to do an RCT between KMC and no KMC. So we just looked at neurodevelopment at 1 year by BSID, but we looked at two groups: the one who starts KMC early and does prolonged KMC for more than 8 hours by discharge, and the group who doesn't start early or can't do prolonged KMC. And we found that even when we compare these two groups, both of which are providing KMC, but one is providing a little earlier and for a prolonged duration, there was a difference in their BSID outcomes at 1 year. So I do believe that kangaroo mother care is something that promotes the baby's brain. And this was something that we used to promote kangaroo mother care, particularly among the private facilities, because you need to tell them why it is better than their best incubator. So the other thing that we did was the system changes to help prolong KMC, and it was a need to establish KMC wards at not only the district hospitals, but also in the taluk hospitals across Koppal district. So KMC wards were established, and even at PHCs, we had designated beds to do KMC, because some of the babies who are more than 1.8 kgs are not referred to the district hospital. And there are some babies who are even smaller than 1.8 kgs who refuse to go to the district hospital. So kangaroo mother care has to come to them if they don't go to the district hospitals where KMC is being provided. So KMC wards were established at all PHCs. And even in the postnatal ward, we had a designated area for KMC, because a lot of babies between 1.8 to 2.5 are stable enough to be with their mothers and don't need to go to the NICU. So, but they need support, they need kangaroo mother care, and having a designated area in a high load facility like a district hospital definitely makes sense to promote kangaroo mother care. Even in the private NICU, we had a lot of issues in having inroads into the private hospitals, but there were many of them, like Amar Hospital, who supported us, and these are some of the pictures from there. And they also were able to do effective KMC quite well. And this was something that we used as a promoter between other NICUs through CMEs. So this is how we established KMC facilities across Koppal Hospital. And this is a slide to say, and KMC ward is an absolute necessity if we want to do prolonged KMC. In St. John's, we have believed in KMC for the past 20 years. And we always thought we were doing very good KMC. But in 2015, when we actually looked at our data as a baseline data for a quality improvement project to improve the KMC duration, we were quite aghast to see that it was only 4.43 hours per day in the NICU. Even with a quality improvement, we barely touched 7 hours per day. And slowly our quality improvement improved. We had a KMC nurse, and this is where having one particular person designated as a KMC nurse, it helped us add around 4 hours to our KMC hours per day. But what really made the difference and helped us move much earlier was the KMC ward. Here you see that establishing the KMC ward in St. John's helped us to increase the KMC hours to almost 16 hours per day. So this is something that we need. If a mother has to do prolonged KMC, she needs to be comfortable. She needs to have a bed to lie in, and it can't be next to the baby in chairs. So these were some of the initiatives in Koppal district. We'll talk about it a little more about KMC kit, reclining chairs. And the main thing is the participation by the families and the mothers. We had absolutely no resistance from them. The fathers were more than happy. We had an akka model where each mother would have a support from her own family member and also another peer mother who's been doing KMC, and we call this at the akka model. And this really worked well for mothers in Koppal district. And we need to remember that the mothers need to have some recreation in the KMC wards. So we had some games for them, which were also tools for them to learn. We have a snake and ladder game where they learn the benefits of KMC and the danger signs through this game. and we also had other recreation for them. One of the things that we found was fathers love to do KMC. Many facilities would not allow fathers to come in and do KMC, but they would take great opportunity to do this once the baby goes home. So this is what we did. The facility, infrastructure, personnel, motivation, family empowerment, and in the community, it was a lot of ASHA support, supportive supervision, and community mobilization. The key problem we had was community facility linkage. Once a baby gets discharged, we would lose out that baby once a baby goes into the community. So we did a lot of things, and we found that two things worked. That is, at the time of discharge, a phone call from the facility to the KMC, to the ASHA worker or the ASHA facilitator would help. And second is a linkage card, which we would give to the families to take and give it to the ASHA as soon as she visits. So a referral and communication WhatsApp group was also created in Koppal district, and ASHA visits, as we progressed during the study, we were able to get ASHAs to visit these low birth weight much earlier. We had a lot of BCC tools and supportive supervision by community coordinators. We did a lot of work for community mobilization using mass media, and also a lot of news and celebrations were done. And therefore, KMC became a mantra in Koppal district. And this is the story of the KMC triplets, which actually the celebration of each of their birthdays was a big thing in Koppal, and that really helped us to promote KMC. But without support of the administrators and government, it is not possible. And one important thing is constant review of the data which comes in to see where we need to improve. So unless we look at our own KMC data very rigorously and continuously, this is going to be difficult. So what are our results of this? We found that with Kangaroo Mother Care implementation, we were able to achieve, this is where 85% across all government hospitals, 94% in the community health centers, and in the private, it was around 87% of initiation of KMC. Effective KMC, that is more than 8 hours plus exclusive breastfeeding, was almost 70% in the government hospitals, whereas in private, it was a little lower at around 40%, and we were able to start KMC as early as median day of 1 day, but a little later in the private. Even after going home, 90% of them were practicing KMC by day 7, though the effective KMC, that is duration, had come down. 48% were doing it for more than 8 hours in a day. By 28 days, many babies do wriggle out and they may not be requiring KMC, but 79% were still doing KMC. The same results or similar results are seen across Ethiopia and the other sites. All sites achieved more than 80% initiation and more than 75% exclusive breastfeeding, 60% effective KMC. In fact, when we started the study, we were not sure that we would even reach 20% effective KMC because we had put in 8 hours of KMC as effective KMC. But a whopping 60% across the sites were able to achieve this in just a matter of 2 years. And the usual age of initiation was around 3 to 4 days. And these babies stayed in the hospital for 4 to 6 days. And therefore, the key summary learnings, which I would like to end this brief session, would be, first of all, we need to weigh our babies accurately. Second, very important thing is this KMC is a social intervention, and mother is the key person at the center of this intervention. It is not about doctors and facilities and hospitals and nurses. Mother care, respectful Kangaroo Mother Care needs support for the mothers, needs supportive health personnel, and KMC ward is a prerequisite for it. Kangaroo Mother Care is not a standalone intervention. It has to be integrated into the care of the low birth weight. It is a total healthcare strategy for the baby. At discharge, a linkage with the community is absolutely essential to continue Kangaroo Mother Care at home. And this whole thing has to be data driven. There should be constant review of the data so that we can continue to improve our KMC implementation. So with this, Praveen, I end my initial presentation so that we can continue with the other questions to Mary Ann. Over to you, Praveen.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much. So, as we were discussing that there is a large population that we have who have medical problems for which KMC is an effective answer. So there is a need for scaling up of this intervention across the centers and in the community as well. Thank you for elaborating that. But Marianne, I want you to come in here in terms of to discuss, as we all understand, mother is an important part of this team. How do we counsel the mothers and how do we go about counseling them regarding the KMC?
Thank you, Praveen, for calling. Can you hear me? Hello?
Audible, yeah.
Yeah, audible. Thank you first and foremost for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to be able to talk to you all about how do you counsel mothers. I think I've just used a small acronym called DALPAC. D is basically to build rapport with the mother. Often we are so busy with our own work that we forget to speak to the mother, ask her name, introduce your own self, and be relaxed. Face the mother. So we use acronym, have an open posture, lean forward when you're talking to the mother, maintain eye contact, and sit facing the mother. Ask open-ended questions to the mother. And I would say when you're counseling, just don't counsel the mother alone. Have a significant family member along with the mother, because somebody who can help the mother to continue KMC both at the facility as well as at home. So ask the mother like how she's feeling or how she thinks her baby is feeling itself. The next is to listen very carefully to the mother. And when I say listen, I say as a mother, or you can clarify or reflect the feeling. The mother says, I'm scared to hold this baby. This baby is so small. So then you just say, it looks like you are worried about your baby. Let me show you. So that confirms to the mother that you are actually listening to her problem. Important also to listen for barriers. The mother needs to continue KMC at home. So you would need to continue and look at the barriers and common barriers which Suman has mentioned, which is important. But specific to the mother is probably she's not aware of KMC. So to build her, talk to her about what is KMC, as well as there might be barriers with regards to she's tired, she's had a cesarean section, or she's frightened to carry her baby. There's a big barrier with regards to stigma. Will other mothers look at her and say, oh, she can't afford ICU care and that is why she's keeping the baby on KMC? Feeding. She might have to express her breast milk to feed the baby because the baby will not be strong enough to feed directly, especially the smaller ones. So in which case she might be extra time for expressing breast milk. This may be a barrier. Privacy at homes. It may not be so much for the families that come to Ovum, but if there are families that are coming from the low or the middle income groups, there might be crowds in the home or people visiting, etc. Can they find a place where the mother can provide KMC in privacy? As well as, would she get help with regards to she might be having other babies or other children under 5 years who have to be looked after? Would she get help? The next is in terms of after listening, I would say P is, can you change the next one? P is praise the mother. If you see the mother doing KMC in the hospital, if you've initiated KMC, tell her, confirm or affirm what she's doing, that she's carrying the baby well, she's giving KMC, etc. advise the mother, and what would you advise the mother on? One is advise the mother on why KMC, how to position the baby on KMC, as well as for how long to give KMC. A session of KMC should not be less than 1 hour. And when we taught mothers, we said not less than 2 hours. It's always better to keep the baby for a longer time than to keep removing the baby every time. So at least when we taught, and if we achieved more than 8 hours, the way we achieved more than 8 hours is if the mother kept the baby on her chest, skin to skin, for at a time, we say at least 2 to 3 hours you continue KMC for a period. So for how long and where can she give KMC? She can give KMC at home. She can give KMC sitting. She can give KMC probably on bed, which is propped up at around 30-40 degree angle. Also to advise her on what to watch. What to watch when the baby is on KMC. She can check the temperature of the baby's feet and hands by knowing the temperature, T. Also see whether the baby is active or not. The A, is the baby breathing? Can she feel the baby breathing or the baby's, and also the color of the baby. Important, very simple, but mothers pick this up very, very easily. And C of ALPAC is confirm understanding. Ask the mother what she has understood and confirm that she has understood before she goes home. These are the main points that we would have to keep in mind with regards to counseling the mother.
So much. So essentially, it's like we take them through the journey of learning because we also take time in learning. So we can't expect the mothers to suddenly know. And there is a systematic way of doing the counseling. Thank you for that. Now, other thing which comes into the mind in many centers is, what are the requirements? Like, how do I prepare the ward or what are resources required for KMC? Can you take us through briefly on that, and maybe we can touch a little bit deeper on that later on as well.
I think simple is enough. That's the key word. Yes, you need beds which are adjustable. If you don't have adjustable beds, then you would require backrest at least. Pillows for the support of the mother. Chairs. There could be different kinds of chairs that are available. Depending upon whether the mother and the hospital can afford it, you can have the simple plastic chair which the mother can sit on, but it's important there are armrests so that the mother can move backwards, and it's at an angle of around 30 to 35 to 40 degrees. Basic facilities for the mother, because of the mother staying inside the facility, for water to bathe, bathroom, clean facilities that way, and I'm sure Owen would not have a problem. Will she be provided food in the hospital is a question to keep in mind. In addition, it is important to also look at by being involved by putting a TV in the KMC wards, and we didn't only show them so automatically in KMC and watching, she's support person. The policy sets up is a good way to provide KMC. Provide with KMC kits. We had a small KMC bag, caps, socks, and mittens if necessary, but mittens may not be absolutely necessary. We gave them a binder, and the binders we tried out different, which was cut, is a good way. Binder, and was we gave them towels. thin cotton towels to secure the baby. We gave them a palada to help feeding the baby if necessary if the baby was not feeding directly. If you give them the basic in the hospital, they will do KMC anywhere. This is a family of that I've seen in Koppal itself. Where the mother and a couple, that is a couple who's providing KMC, absolutely no help. Decide the mother to give KMC. Or it could be in a high-tech place, whichever is possible. But it can be done anywhere.
Sure. Thank you so much for that. Let's quickly move on to how do we prepare and motivate our healthcare professionals and train them in KMC?
I think is something which can building of capacity through skill stations. We had skill stations like might be how to count, how do you we also have those were the specialists went to the sites. They conduct he was having a seizure because so we conducted the drill so that the they followed where they could all that they centers as well as we had specialists. The nurse mentors on a weekly basis so that they could bring out any difficulties they were facing and how they could problem solve. The practices which Suman mentioned with regards to might be rewarding a person who was a champion in the facility, or also progress of KMC practice, where the data was available. Each facility they had a graph progressing. So that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Maria, can you also let us know when we think about KMC, we talk about the stable LVW babies, but what is stable anyway?
Stable baby. If it is in an NI baby and one is on KMC, baby doesn't require any respiratory support. 94% on low concentration of oxygen, and babies tolerating partial enteral feeds. That means partial IV and partial enteral feeds. Those are things that can be done. Or observation. You are more sure because they did not have respiratory support, etc. The baby does not have it. One, baby is able to feed. In the primary healthcare of life itself.
So, thank you for that. Suman, I want to ask you if you can continue the conversation regarding
Yeah,
the stable and like, who are
absolutely.
the right babies there
This,
and where, how early we can start?
it's been a big challenge to define stability. If you look at literature, right from 2003, when the WHO manual came out, the word stability, we say stable baby, but we don't really define it. And therefore, it's been a big challenge to explain to people what the stability is. And this criteria that I've put up, these three, is what we had used in the immediate KMC study, which I'll talk about. But even before the immediate KMC study, I must say that many of us who have been practicing kangaroo mother care for a long time have been pushing these boundaries for some time now. I remember doing this KMC for sick babies as a feasibility study for a fellows project in St. John's, and we just took 20 babies and looked at whether it was actually feasible to do KMC for 1 continuous hour for babies who are on the ventilator on CPAP, and we found that it was possible to do that in all 20 babies. And this is a paper which had come out, I think, last year or so, in advanced neonatal care. So it is feasible. People have been doing this with unstable babies. But at the same time, this big question of can we start KMC early has been sort of another $1 million question, because 1/3 of the babies die before even KMC is started. So this life-saving intervention does not reach the ones who deserve it the most. And therefore, WHO came out with this immediate KMC study, and you can read the methods paper in trials. And this is a study that I have been very closely associated since I started working for them as a consultant. So I would like to elaborate a little further on this, because currently the word stable, we will be doing away with it since the study's conclusion. So this immediate KMC study was a study done across 4 countries in Africa, and in India it was being done in Safdarjung Hospital in Delhi. It is a large trial with 4,200 babies. It's an RCT, and here we were looking at hardcore outcomes of mortality. And what we were comparing was starting KMC as soon as possible after birth. And the outside time limit was around 2 hours. And you start it early, do continuous KMC for almost 20 hours per day, and then see whether doing it in sick babies, where compared to starting KMC later when the baby is stable, improves the outcome further. And this was the big study which was going on. And you see, this has actually revolutionized care in Safdarjung Hospital. These are pictures from Safdarjung where you see the mother newborn intensive care unit, where even a C-section mother is transferred here by 2 to 6 hours. Until then, the baby is here in an adult bed with the surrogate or with the mother. But remember, this is an ICU. So you still have to have a warmer there for any procedures. You still have to have CPAP. You can see the CPAP machine here. And the baby gets all the intensive care, monitoring, and interventions like any other baby. But the place is on the mother's chest. And these are pictures from the other African sites. And this has actually now changed the world for when KMC has to be started. Here you see that even respiratory support like CPAP and all is being provided in KMC position. And this study has actually ended in January. The Data Safety Monitoring Board stopped the trial when 75% of the babies were recruited, because it has already been found that it is beneficial. So this is going to change a lot of things. And this is not the only study where KMC is being done pre-stabilization. There are another 2 or 3 studies which is happening on a large scale in Africa. And all this, I am sure, is going to revolutionize, and we are going to be starting kangaroo mother care as soon as possible, as early as we can get, even for unstable babies. So this was the other big piece of work that WHO did. And this has led to the zero separation policy, not just for the term stable baby, but even for the preterm unstable baby. I just would like to add on quickly about the community KMC, because we found that babies who were born in the community would not get. And this is a paper in Lancet, which is published in 2018. And you will know that community-initiated KMC is possible. Mothers do long periods of KMC even at home for as long as 11 hours. And it has been shown that doing community-initiated KMC would reduce the mortality by another whopping 30%. And this is not only the newborn mortality, but when they continue to follow up these babies till 6 months, they found that even up till 6 months, there was benefit on hardcore outcomes like mortality. And this just needs some sort of support for KMC in the community. Someone who is very similar to our ASHA worker can do this. And they found in this community KMC study, which was done in Haryana, they found benefit on breastfeeding and also benefit on reduced infection like pneumonia, diarrhea, even up till 6 months of age. So what WHO has now learned from all this is, as such, KMC is great. But when you're having only 5% coverage, you hardly prevent 10,000 deaths per year. If you add on to this the learnings from the scale-up KMC, you reach up to around 1.5 lakhs per year, because around a third of the babies are still getting lost because they're born early or they are being born at home. If you start community-initiated KMC, you reach around 2.5 lakhs per year. But if you also start immediate KMC, then you would be saving almost 4 lakhs deaths per year globally in this low birth weight babies. So this is the whole picture about the research on KMC. The CKMC, the scale-up KMC, and the immediate KMC. And with this, the proposal is this. You have an integrated package of care. If we want all women to deliver in the hospital, and if she has a small baby, we start immediate KMC, send her to the NICU. If the baby is sick, the baby continues in the maternal newborn intensive care unit with immediate KMC. But if the baby is stable, the baby can go to the KMC wards. Whereas if there's a home birth and it is not possible, they refuse to go to the health facility, then community-initiated KMC is the answer. Once babies are well enough to get discharged, irrespective of their weight criteria, they continue community KMC, and this could save 4 lakhs deaths per year. So this is the package of care that is going to be promoted, and maternal newborn intensive care unit is going to be the new norm for the NICUs across the world. So with this, I end my presentations, and we are ready for any further questions, Praveen.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are facing some audio issues with Marianne. So may I ask, while we're trying to sort it out, Suman, may I ask you regarding the details of the KMC chair, because there's always the question about the what specifications, and also KMC dresses or slings, which several of those are available nowadays. Can you give us a little bit more details on them?
So I just put up 2 pictures. This is what we use, the plastic ones, which cost around 1,000 rupees. But there are centers which use more hi-fi ones. So if you're working in the corporate setup, or even in fact the Haryana group, they wanted to build a very fancy KMC units, and they in fact in their district hospital they have such chairs. So you could have anything, and the idea is this: you have to have armrest. It has to have an angle of 30 to 40 degrees. It should be comfortable for the mothers. But please remember, the mother needs a comfortable reclining bed also if she has to do prolonged KMC. So in addition to this, about binders, as such, we don't want to promote any binder, because we don't want it to be a restriction that I don't have a binder, I can't do KMC. But we did in St. John's a small study to look at which binder would be preferred or which is better. we use the KEM kangaroo bag that you showed, that this is hardly actually 25, 30 rupees, at the most 100 rupees per bag. And then you had this commercially available binder by Lardell, that is Care Plus. And this was a new one which we were also studying, called as Mama Pod, which was developed in IIT Delhi with AIIMS. This is something which has a flap here so that it can even promote feeding during KMC position. And what we did was we looked at the preference by the mothers, and we found that a majority of them preferred Care Plus. And some of the main reasons were comfort. They felt more safer and they were satisfied with the ease of use. And ease of milk expression was not very good with Care Plus, but it was best with Mama Pod. But having said that, though the total score was very similar to Care Plus and Mama Pod and lower for the KEM binder, the number of hours was not really very significant between the three groups. All of them were doing Kangaroo Mother Care well with this. So the answer is this. Do you need a binder? Yes, you need a binder if you have to do prolonged KMC. Otherwise, a baby can slip down because mother goes to sleep, baby is sleeping, baby can slip down. But you can use anything, including just a piece of sari or a towel. You don't need fancy binders, but if you want to use fancy binders, they are available in the market and mothers are happy with it. So that was about binders and chairs. You have the choice, Praveen. You could choose what you want.
Yeah,
Over
thank
to you,
you.
Praveen.
Yeah, thank you so much. There are a few questions, like one of that is the cultural challenges. Some of the mothers are not given birth for several days after the delivery in some cultures, I mean, within our state itself. So how do we go about in those circumstances?
We do say that a mother should have a daily bath to ensure that she's clean while she's doing KMC. We insist that when we ask the surrogates or a foster KMC person, they should have a bath and then come. But with the mother, like especially when we are doing very early KMC, bath is not a prerequisite. Please remember, the mother microbiome is going to colonize the baby. And even if she has not had a bath, she would still have only commensal, so it's perfectly okay. We have not been even cleaning the chest and putting the baby on it. So in C-sections where mothers may not take a bath, particularly for 2 days or 3 days, it is perfectly still okay to do Kangaroo Mother Care.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's right. So then the other issues are like the fear of apnea or acute life-threatening event very early on. So would you recommend pulse ox or temperature monitoring during a KMC?
I do have a slide for this, which I would like to share. This is a meta-analysis which has come up only this January, and we have always been teaching that Kangaroo Mother Care reduces apnea because it is a biological plausibility. As the baby is here on the chest and the mother is breathing, the chest goes up and down and it's a continuous stimulation for the baby and apnea is reduced. We all know that the physiological stability is better, heart rate, respiratory rate, saturations are better and apnea is lesser. But this is the first meta-analysis which has clearly shown that apnea is lower with Kangaroo Mother Care position. So therefore, the fear that people have that KMC can increase apnea, they can lay it to rest. Having said that, here when we are promoting Kangaroo Mother Care, even for unstable babies, I do think a continuous pulse ox monitoring is absolutely essential. In the study, in the immediate KMC study, during NICU stay, a pulse ox was mandatory. In fact, WHO provided Masimo pulse ox to all these units. So it is mandatory to do it when the baby is still unstable. After the baby is stable, there is no need of pulse ox, but we do always teach the mother how to recognize a baby when the baby is apneic or becoming blue or is not very comfortable. So the mother becomes the monitor then. Over to you, Praveen.
Yeah, thank you for that. So the other thing, as you know, is like, how do you measure the quality of KMC in the units, and how do you ensure we sustain the quality?
I don't have a slide for this, but I would definitely like to talk. As I said, the first thing to improve the quality is to look at your own data, and that has to be very well collected. If you ask different units, do you do KMC? They all say yes. But how long do you do KMC? We do KMC for very prolonged duration, maybe 8 hours, 10 hours. But it's only when you look at data you realize where you are. For example, as I showed in my quality improvement slide, um, we thought we were doing KMC very, very well. But when we had a baseline in 2015, we were only at 4 point some hours per day. That is the average. Some others do much better than that. So the main thing for this is, okay. I don't know whether you're seeing my slide. The main thing is this, to have good data collection, and this data should feed back into maybe monthly review meetings so that the unit can improve the KMC hours. And it is very good intervention for a quality improvement project. Even at a national level, this is absolutely essential. Unfortunately, our SNCU database does not talk about KMC hours at the moment, but UNICEF is planning to change the thing and introduce the KMC case sheet so that we can have better data on KMC implementation.
Great. Maybe I'll take up one of the questions, I think, from Pradeep, was regarding what duration of KMC showed the difference in the long-term neurological outcome in the study. Probably that was related to the COPAL study.
Pradeep, I could answer this from the St. John study. The neurodevelopment thing which you saw BSID at 1 year was from a St. John's cohort, and we had divided the two groups into early and prolonged KMC, the ones who start within the first 3 days and by discharge who do more than 8 hours per day. And the other group is either they have started later than 3 days or they do not do for more than 8 hours. So this was the difference in the time between the two groups. As far as the KMC in Koppal district is concerned, we have just started on a neuro developmental outcome project. ICMR is funding this so that we will be able to get some information on duration of KMC as well as neurodevelopmental outcome. Similarly, in the immediate KMC study, there is an add-on to it, that is the neurodevelopmental immediate KMC, where we'll get more information on this. But our data was 8 hours or more than 8 hours. Over to you, Praveen. I hope I answered Dr. Pradeep's question.
Yeah. If not, he will put in that more questions there. So in the unit, I have a couple of questions. One is to reduce pain during the procedure. There is evidence that KMC might reduce the pain. Do you practice it? What are the challenges that you might face?
Yeah.
And related to that, Srinivas was asking regarding when you have umbilical lines, how do you go about it?
In fact, pain and KMC, enough data to show that KMC reduces pain. Even in St. John's, this has been one of the pet topics that people have done research on, particularly our nurses. And there's absolutely no doubt that KMC reduces pain. Now, having said that, I don't know if you can see my screen. Having said that, implementing it as a tool to reduce pain is challenging. So what we do is, if a baby is in KMC position and it requires any venipunct, heel prick, we do it in the KMC position. But we do not put babies into KMC just for doing the procedure. When babies are getting prolonged KMC, then it is easy to do this. But our nurses do face a challenge in actual practice to do venipunctures and all in KMC position. So they do come back into the ward more. So implementation of KMC as a tool to reduce pain is a challenge. But we also need to remember that KMC is not only about KMC position, but also about exclusive breastfeeding. And we have enough data to showing that express breast milk reduces pain. And this is something that we find is very feasible to implement. Give 2 ml milk before any painful procedure like venipuncture, ROP, or even nasopharyngeal suctioning. This is something that is very much more doable than putting a baby in KMC position. The other thing which I would like also to stress here is many people think mothers may not be ready. They might feel uncomfortable to have their babies undergoing procedures in KMC position. This is not true. Mothers are ready to do anything that reduces pain for their baby. So they would be more than happy to do this KMC for even during procedures. The next aspect of the question was about umbilical lines. I agree with Srinivas. It is a big challenge. Even we have found that it is more difficult to do KMC with the umbilical lines, arterial or venous. We have tried different, putting some, gauze pad and then keeping the baby in position, but it is difficult. It's not impossible. During the study, we found 3 babies, I think, had umbilical lines in our feasibility study, but in actual practice, nurses are hesitant to do it. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Next one question which I had, and Prashant is asking similar question there, is that clearly beneficial KMC, and some of the units are able to effectively do it in their ICUs. And in the community, there are only 2 things that we could expect the parents do, which can have a great impact. That is the breastfeeding and KMC. But what are the challenges of in the community KMC implementation that you have seen, or how do you advise people to go about it?
If we start KMC well in the facility, continuing KMC in the community is not a big challenge. The main thing that is needed is frequent visits by ASHAs or any other type of community support system. And mothers and families are more than willing to do KMC. We just need to build up the awareness. So a big challenge in the community was not from the families or the fathers, and you saw that they were all very happy to do, but they should realize that they have to start KMC. And therefore, we need to build a good KMC practice in the facility so that they can continue. But if that was not possible, for example, in the Lucknow group, they found that the duration of KMC in the community was far higher than even the facilities, because the community empowerment lab, which implemented the study in the Raebareli district, are basically a community group which has done a lot of research in the community, and their support system in the community is fantastic. So they found that community KMC was definitely feasible with the support from the community ASHA-like health workers. So the only thing is extra visits for the low birth weight and awareness to be built up by a lot of mass media and becoming a way of life for these low birth weight, and community KMC is not a challenge at all. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We've completed the questions and answered the queries from the list as well, but I can't let you go, without asking you about your current role with WHO. In the last few years, you've been working with WHO for KMC implementation. I would like to know what's your current area of work and strategies for implementation of KMC across different countries and cultures.
So thanks, Praveen, for giving me time for this too. Indeed, what has been my learning is mothers, babies, families, whether in Africa, Europe, or Asia, or anywhere, are the same. So implementing KMC is not a challenge because it is in a different geography. Mothers and babies are willing. In fact, in Africa, I found that it was far more easier to implement KMC, especially even with the surrogates, because they are not so concerned about exposing or wearing the KMC garment. So it was much more easier, I would think, in Africa. Having said that, even in Safdarjung Hospital or even in Koppal, surrogates were more than willing to do kangaroo mother care. So it has been the same across the globe. But currently, I would say in our MCA department, as far as KMC is concerned, the biggest problem today in this COVID pandemic is to sustain and improve upon the practices which we definitely know is beneficial for the baby. We do not know if COVID is very serious in babies. Whatever little evidence we have, it seems to suggest that newborns and children may not have such a severe disease as adults, but it has resulted in quite indiscriminate separation of the mother and baby, which we are currently concerned could have a lot of effects on babies being denied these life-saving interventions. So the discussion that we keep having weekly is how can we mitigate the indirect effects of COVID on mother and newborn care, like access to healthcare, kangaroo mother care, breastfeeding. So WHO has come out with guidelines which you yourself have shared that we need to promote this. And with the three main pieces of the puzzle fitting in and all the studies showing benefit, whether it is community KMC, immediate KMC, or scale up KMC, WHO is now poised for integrated KMC, like I showed in that flow chart, being taken up at a more global level where the policy is zero separation. Start KMC early for low birth weight babies and take it into the community and continue it for as long as possible. So it has been quite exciting to work in the WHO during this time. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Sorry, last one more question. Two people have asked this. Anita also had asked this from Bagalkot. So in COVID time, how are you kind of like looking at attachment to the mother, KMC, and other best standard issues?
Yeah. So as far as a COVID suspect is concerned, the baby should not be separated from the baby. The mother and baby should not be separated. KMC practices and other essential newborn care practices should continue. If a mother is not sick, even if she is infected, skin to skin contact and kangaroo mother care and feeding of express breast milk and even direct breastfeeding can continue. But the emphasis is on all measures to reduce transmission, and that is hand hygiene, wearing a mask, ensuring that the droplet spread is as minimal as possible. And this is not only true from the mother, but also on the other family members, because they can be asymptomatic family members who may be transmitting it to the baby. So the emphasis is on continuing kangaroo mother care and breastfeeding even during this COVID times. If a mother is very sick, obviously the mother and the baby will be separated.
Thank you so much.
Over to you,
And
yeah,
thank you so much. And I thank everyone for joining us for this first experience.